Hey, we live.
Two snackers and snackettes. It's your boy Gage. Dokes is in the building, as well as Sin. Say what's up, gentlemen.
What's happening,
What's
people?
up?
That's what it is. And you all are now watching Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today,
Today?
today, um, man, we have a few things to discuss. There's a lot on the table, but first and foremost,
Mm-hmm.
I need to publicly thank you, gentlemen, as well as Kay and Mari and Noah and Jacob and John, everybody that joined
All
us
of
over
them.
the weekend for
Yeah.
Extra Life. Tony, everybody that played, everybody that watched, everybody that donated. Um, you two, 24 hours straight, most of it, most
20,
of us.
hey, 20, 23, 23. I had to go to Niagara Falls and get some water and throw on
You
my
did,
face.
you did. What's up, Marcus?
Uh,
Um, yeah, I wanna take a minute to just say again, thank you to the two of you publicly in this forum. Thank you to Kay, who may or may not be watching. I don't know. Again, we had a discussion when we had our regular weekly meeting, but
Mm-hmm.
I just want to thank you guys for the effort, for the time. Um, Extra Life has just kind of become a staple for us. Doing it every year, it gets bigger and better and more fun. We had some challenges this year that we weren't positive about how we were going to face them. In terms of, normally we all get together in one place and we bring our boxes like an old school LAN party. We bring our
Hey,
boxes and
mhm.
set the
we
TVs
made
and all
it.
that.
We made it work.
No doubt, no doubt, and that's kind
With
of what
great work.
what the point is. Black Squadron, what up? K, what up? Alfonso, what up? So yeah, so
People,
I really
people
want
like
to
the
thank you
stream and
guys
how we had it set
for your
up.
time and effort. Jokes, I want to thank you for shaving your face, sir.
Hey,
At $300.
it's for the
I worked
kids.
hard to get you to that last
I
to
know
that
you
last
did.
step.
You made sure I got over that little hump.
Listen, that baby face milk dud joint is hard to get you through like the remaining 6 hours. Um, Sin. Let's talk about Phasmophobia for a second. And I know this is a pop culture show. We're not really gonna get into video games. We can talk maybe a little more deeply on the next show.
Sure.
Appreciate that, Kay. What's up, Henry? I see you. Uh, Phasmophobia. That's a big deal. We hit a milestone that put you in a position to have to play Phasmophobia by yourself.
Yep.
That was pretty tough. I
Yes.
appreciate you taking that one on the
Sir,
chin,
you took that one.
doing that
I,
and for the team and for the kids. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, I thank you. Thank you, sir. Again,
Yeah.
I know it was major,
Look,
and
look,
I know it's more
and
major than most people realize.
I went back
So
and I watched the entire hour that you were on live while I was doing it because I wanted to hear the background. And they were begging for you to pull me out. He was like, "Nah, he good." Leave
wait. Who is they though?
dog,
Who is they?
him. Mari and
I
Click.
feel like one person.
dog.
Click and Mari was like, you might want to pull him out.
So my man is
I
in
mean,
the
Click
Matrix.
definitely.
My man is in the Matrix. Pull him out now. Bring him back.
Hey, but you heard me say like I can't call him. I'm live right now. Call him.
Yeah, I heard all that. I heard all that.
I
Yeah.
have his number.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that because I was over shaving everything
What's up,
off the
Greg?
face.
Yeah, it was tricky. Listen, here's what I wanna say. Um, we raised about $2,300 for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, which again is phenomenal. So, while we were playing and having a good time and staying up really late, and while we all did donate some money ourselves, again, it's without folks tuning in and watching and giving from their pockets and their hearts, it doesn't
Mhm.
happen.
Absolutely.
So, thank you to you guys, but thank you to everybody who was watching, who was paying attention, who was there for the annex. We greatly appreciate it. We're gonna do it again next year
100%.
for sure.
100%.
And it's not too late. you can still donate to see Sin shave his face.
Oh yeah, if we hit that milestone, it's still gonna happen.
It's not over yet.
It's still plenty of time.
It's not over
Hey,
yet.
look,
I gotta go
look,
back and look
that
and see how
was
close he
Saturday.
was.
Like, it's Tuesday now. It's a different day.
Oh no! Matter of fact, let me go over here right quick while I'm thinking. See what you need left in there. So
So, sir,
let's see.
they're like 420.
You just want me to
like 80
you just want me to join you in the Babyface Club.
I
That's all
do.
you
Like-
want.
I sure enough do.
I feel like you should put your swear jar money.
Oh, my swear jar money's going into his bank. Oh yeah, I'm throwing mine into his.
I think I'll do mine too. I might add a little extra.
$80.
You know what
Yeah, $80.
It's not bad. Sin, did you put the swear jar money in?
I still gotta put mine in.
Oh, okay, so
My
yeah,
se-
I mean my man is over, dog. He about to shave.
But I say between his swear jar and Mari's swear jar and Noah's swear jar, if all of those go into his pot, it's a wrap.
Hey, real talk, Mari might have already put hers in there. She was fired up. Listen, I was trying to push. If I'd have hit 1,000 and we'd had to do that, we probably would have got her to push her swear jar over the limit.
Big facts.
Listen, hey Roberts, what's up? Welcome to the show. So check this out. Again, just one last time, thank you to everybody for all of your time and effort with Extra Life. I feel really good about what we were able to accomplish. So thank you for that. Now,
Yes.
let's get into the show.
Into the
You know
show.
what I'm saying? Time for the show. We're all good, Jay. I mean, we got some sleep, I think. Everybody caught up on sleep?
Yeah, I'm good. I actually didn't even think. Sad part was I didn't even go to sleep
No.
right after we got off. I didn't go to sleep. I ended up watching.
Because you were just woke up.
No, I ended up watching
Right.
I watched Mandalorian. Then I went to sleep.
Did you see the second episode of Mandalorian? Season 2, Sin, yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
And,
party
no
foul.
bigs. Yeah. Look, let's do this. Because, again, we got a lot to cover. So, here's what's on the docket for the day right now. So, AMC is renting out their theaters, which is not a completely new thing,
Mhm.
but it is, like, actually official now, which we'll get into in a moment. We're going to talk about Latasha Lynch being the new 007.
Mhm.
I have some things I want to say about that. And we're going to talk about WandaVision, because WandaVision is only like a month away. And so we need to kind of dig into what's happening with WandaVision there. But where I would like to start, AMC theaters. So AMC has made an official statement that they are renting out their theaters. And though it is something that has been going on, it appeared to be something that was maybe being done by franchises or being tested, more pilot. And now it is like it has officially rolled out. There are still some theaters that aren't doing it. But we're actually going to take a look at that.
Mhm.
So, Joe, you let me know when you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready. You're good.
Awesome. Well, here's the deal. This is the new webpage, amctheaters.com/rentals. Starting at $99. We're going to get into that for sure. But I want to go through exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. So you can see right on the screen here, make an AMC auditorium all yours. So rent an entire AMC safe and clean. That's a trademark auditorium, and host a personal movie screening for one or a private party for up to 20 total guests. It's perfect for an everyday escape or a celebration to remember. Choose from fan favorite films for $99 plus tax, or new releases starting at $149 plus tax. Please keep that in mind. Prices may vary by movie and theater location, and at this time we're not currently offering same day private theater rentals. There is a fact, and we will probably dig into that a little bit. So essentially what has happened is that they have made it so that the website now is official. Like you can literally click where it says book now
Mm-hmm.
and start working on booking. But before we try that, let's talk about what to expect. So we will scan your group ticket once your complete party arrives. So you're talking a ticket and everyone is supposed to be present.
Okay.
Okay.
The auditorium will be thoroughly cleaned and ready for you 15 minutes prior to showtime. And if you anticipate a late guest arrival, please ask a manager for assistance. So that's interesting. Somebody's running late, what have you. So again, we get into this AMC safe and clean experience, which again I think is important for them to try to draw attention to, just considering under which this is happening. You know, private theater rentals are a hit. Again, this is not something that hasn't been being done in some manner. Now it feels like it might almost be the only way for it to get done. But let's get into this. So watch Tenet in a private auditorium starting at $149. So have a personal screening of Christopher Nolan's big screen blockbuster for one or have up to 20 total guests and discuss after the credits. So rent the entire AMC Safe and Clean auditorium starting at $149 plus tax, and prices vary by location. So it looks like you get to have the theater 15 minutes prior, watch the film. They actually will show trailers.
Cool.
And then looks like you get some extra time afterwards, maybe to discuss the movie or something along those lines. So which movie will you choose? So you have new movies. You can see War with Grandpa, Come Play, Tenet, Let Him Go, Honest Thief. Fan favorites. So memorable movies that must be seen on the big screen. So you got stuff as old as Toy Story, An American Sniper, Goldfinger, Get Out. So 1917. So here's the fact. Again, when can I access the theater rental? So 15 minutes prior. What if I need to cancel or reschedule? So you can cancel it. You can't like reschedule it right away, but once you request a refund, you can then rebook for a new time.
Okay.
Will trailers be played before the movie? Yes. Please allow approximately 20 extra minutes for pre-show and trailers before the show starts. So again, this is one of the ways that theaters make money, is through ads that basically are done through trailers. Will I earn AMC Stubs points on my private theater rental purchase? So yes.
Okay.
Stubs members will earn points for the purchase of their private theater rental. So now that's a thing that's interesting, because if you're doing $100, unless you're paying for it yourself, there are other people that are chipping in or whatever. Like clearly only one person's gonna
Getting
get
those points.
Yeah. Tricky. So is it possible to display a welcome slide or a video for my guests? So you cannot do any custom content at this time. Maybe that will change. I doubt it. I guess it depends on how this goes. Can I bring in outside food or drinks? Before I even push the button, tell me what the answer is.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Yeah, ain't happening, dog. No, dog. Outside food and drinks is not permitted. AMC goes far beyond classic concessions like popcorn and fountain drinks to give you an absolutely appetizing experience. We're always innovating and exploring new ways to bring the best food and drinks to our theaters. Will the concession stand be open? At most theaters, absolutely, but due to some state and local mandates, some theaters may not be able to offer concessions because masks are required to be worn at all times. At these theaters, no food and drinks are permitted. So depending on where you are, no. And can I request a table? I'll just go ahead and tell you now the answer is no. So before I get into what it's like to book and blah, 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 how do we feel? Sin, I'm going to start with you. What are we thinking?
I think it's cool. I would like the option to be able to bring in like my own movie, like an anime movie, for instance, or whatever, to put up on the big screen and have everybody watch, since we don't, get that much, out here in the U.S. But overall, I think it might be a good play for them to push it. Like you said, keep pushing that it's safe, it's clean. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, prices as low as. I wonder what the difference between the price and like why is $199 and one.
Oh, that's easy.
Up to 200. Like, what do you get for all that? Probably like the Dolby theaters or something like that. Or
I think that's the combination.
Well, what they're saying is that the older films, anything that's
cheaper.
a new release,
You're gonna pay more for
it's starting at $150 at least.
Okay.
It's the older films that are $99. So again, if you just want to watch Goldfinger,
$99.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to see
Yeah.
Tenet,
I mean, not a bad
20
idea.
people isn't that bad.
Not a bad idea. I mean, you figure like we all get together, rent out a theater to go see Black Widow whenever it comes out. Like,
Oh, that's
it's gonna be too
300.
bad.
That's
I mean,
300.
somehow everybody pitch in and put it together. You know, they have the theater
True
experience,
that.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't be too, might not be too bad. I think
Yeah.
it's a, I think
It's
it's
not
a good
bad.
play. Yeah.
So, as you can see, my local theater, it says the theater is closed because of local, state, and federal guidelines and will reopen when those guidelines allow. Please continue to check back here for updates. Now, here's what I want you to know. I checked, see what theaters were doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and my local theater is included.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are definitely some. Here are the participating theaters, right?
Okay.
And if we just scroll on down to Maryland, it's at the bottom of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. So Maryland, so Academy 8, so Greenbelt, Columbia 14,
Kind of figured that
right
one.
there. Magic Johnson Capitol Center 12 is literally the same theater they just told me is closed right now. But we are looking at the participating theaters.
Okay.
I wonder if that's because of, I know the somewhat starting to go backwards. Maybe they've already,
Could be.
that's maybe
Possibly.
good. So,
Possibly.
That Cold Red, baby.
Code Red.
Virginia. I mean, you know, we tend to hit the Hoffman.
Yes.
Yeah. Is
Some
that on the
available.
list?
Tyson's Corner is available.
Tyson's not bad.
Um,
Tyson's not bad.
Georgetown 14 and Mazda Gallery. Also, both are supposed to be available for this. Let's just catch a ride. Surveys. You know what? Man, you like the Hoffman.
I do. I 100%
Bam.
do.
Sorry, no show times have been announced yet for this theater. Show times are Friday and beyond usual. So look. So let's go to the private theater rental section and just see if we get anything. I mean, listen, for something that's supposed to make it easy.
Right.
Still got some kinks to work out.
Mhm.
Well, so here's our now playing and our coming soon private theater. So November 6th. So let's just see what happens. We try to get us these tickets.
Nope.
Listen,
So it seems like the idea is formulated, but the execution necessarily hasn't
Yeah.
been done just yet.
here's the thing. That's not a real date. Like, all right, here, let's do November 13th. Friday the 13th is my favorite day.
Oh, look at that. I see some times.
Yeah. So private. So 3, 3:30, 4 o'clock. Charlestown, Courthouse, Sterling. You know what? Let's just pick a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Auditorium can remain at 40% capacity. Interesting. Thursday at 4 p.m. PG Tiny goes back to phase 1. August, if I was surprised, buddy.
We called that a while ago, honestly.
Well, here's what we're looking at. Most of these are $250. Tenet is $250. So again, it probably depends on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What theater is. Like, there's Toy Story, it's $100.
Okay.
Everything else, let's see, Minions is $100. Everything else on here is something that's new, and it's $250. Let's just what? The Honest Thief. Not
Oh,
signing in.
see some food.
2020. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can probably buy. So convenience fee and taxes for $250, $149. Again, let's just see what the next go round looks like.
Stubbs.
Doesn't look like anything that they're telling us and what to expect is any different.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like you put in your contact info and your payment info.
I mean, submit from there.
And that's it, bruh. I do feel like it would be nice to have a wider variety. Like, let's
Agreed.
see if
Yeah.
um, a different theater has different. Yeah. So, like, see,
Same.
they've got Girls Trip, but they don't have. But I mean, it's at 10 o'clock, so they don't have like kids stuff. They
Toy
don't have
Story.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. But Girls Trip wasn't an option for the other theater.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the trick with this is that it's not like you're getting. I guess my biggest issue right now is that it's not like you're getting some wide variety of options to choose from, no matter where you are and what you want. You just whatever that theater apparently happens to have is like,
Is what the choices you got to deal with.
yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? Like here, Let Him Go at this theater, all these are $300, but this is a much smaller theater. It's only 8 theaters.
They trying
You
to
see what
make.
I'm saying? So
make that
they
extra
only
money.
they don't yeah, they're trying to make
Mhm.
more money based on the number of probably theaters and seats they have. It's probably based on the size of the actual individual theaters themselves, like the number of seats they have. 'Cause if they have to maintain being at a certain level of
Distance
capacity,
and
or whatever,
everything.
they're gonna try to get as much money as they can
Right.
Right.
for what the cost is, and there's a higher likelihood that you're gonna try to fill at that theater, which gives them a higher probability of selling concessions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, if you book it for 10 people at $300,
Mhm.
it's not really worth it. But if you book it for 20, maybe it becomes worth it. It basically costs you the same thing as what almost what a
On the
regular
normal
movie
ticket.
costs.
Mhm.
But then maybe you'll also still buy concessions, or there's a much higher probability that the more people you get into the theater. So if you're trying to cut down what the cost is, this is a higher likelihood that you're going to actually get a full 20 people,
True.
and that they're going to make more money on concessions because the more people you bring in, it's the higher percentage. That's just,
Yeah.
um,
Especially depending
Yeah.
on like who foots the bill for it. Like if somebody's inviting you out, you're not paying for like the rental or whatever. You're just going to
Ticket.
watch a movie.
Mm.
You'll be more likely to spend money in concessions. You know what I'm saying? Since you didn't pay for a ticket, like
yeah, yeah, but you also then have to be somebody who is getting the comfort. Like, why? Like, I mean, I guess the question is like, why would you do that?
Mhm.
Why would you?
hey,
I mean,
I
I'm not
mean-
saying. Listen, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it doesn't. It just it. Huh. I
you know,
don't
get the guy
know.
gotta get the guy that want to take his family out. Oh, I can throw $300 down and rent out a theater to take everybody out. Like,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't people who can. Right. It also could be certain theaters might have seating like what you're looking at now. You know what I mean? Like they might have nicer reclining seats and things of that nature.
mhm.
And that could certainly adjust what the pricing is. Still feels to me like, man, there are no new movies out that I even feel like would be worth trying to get 20 people together,
Right.
Yeah,
go to a theater, watch it. Maybe if Tenet had reviewed better.
true. That's specifically why I said something like Black Widow.
Yeah.
That would be something I could see.
Widow, enough
going out
of-
to try to see.
Between Gage with the fam, I'll bring somebody, you bring somebody. I mean, that's kind of a decent. Plus, we wouldn't really care anyway. We want to see Black Widow, so we're going to shell out money to see that either way. So that's not going to really matter anyway. It ended up being just.
They're not getting $300 out of me to see Black Widow.
Well, I don't know. Will we split that between the three of us?
I mean, I pay almost $100 anyway.
I know you do. But damn,
Let's
even you know what?
Let's get a bunch of close people that we like that to go see it together.
Yeah. Because even that, like if it was IMAX, probably almost close to that myself. Because normally if I go to IMAX without a one of the movie pass subscriptions, that's $20 easy for each ticket, and then concessions on top of that, definitely like almost like that 70-80 range right there.
I only do the Dolby, so yeah, I'm up there with you. That $20-$25 range for a ticket. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I could dig a little further and see, what happens if you decide you want to get food and stuff like that, and how that, adds to the price, and if there's probably packages that you can get,
right?
Popcorn and a drink, or pizza and a soda, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably another $14 to $15 minimum. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll have to see about that, Joe. Let's go back to the regular setup.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, these theaters, they got to do something, right?
They got to try.
100%. Yeah.
Got to try. At least for the ones that are still open right now. I mean, if you made the decision to stay open, obviously either it's you're getting at least some traffic that's helping, but it's like at this point, I don't know how much it's really truly helping, because AMC specifically just sounds like they're bleeding cash, and at the end, they said at the end of the year they probably were going to be out of it. So, I mean, I don't know.
Try something. You're gonna go out swinging.
Well said, my friend. Well said, my friend.
Try something instead of just standing around like
twiddling the thumbs. Like, what are we gonna do? Like,
sweat.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do something. You gotta come up with a plan.
Yeah. I don't know if this is gonna be the one. That I don't think this is gonna be the one to help them, but maybe it can keep me afloat for another month or two. But like you say, there's nothing coming out that we really want to get everybody to go see like that, unless they decide to roll the dice or Wonder Woman.
I was gonna say that's the only thing right now, but I still don't think that is gonna hit on Christmas Day.
It's not. It's
not. Christmas Day on HBO Max is where we'll get it at.
Not the way the country's rolling backwards.
It's not.
I mean, to predict the second wave, like, it just doesn't seem like a smart move. I did notice they had like a bunch of on-demand stuff, which I think is interesting. I had to dig into that a little later, but look, let's talk about the Bond film, which is one of the reasons why apparently theaters are closing, because of it being pushed back.
Yeah.
So,
them out specifically.
We talked about this a long time ago, about Latasha Lynch being the new 007. And I dropped an article in Teams for you guys to look at. I don't know if y'all actually had a chance to look at it or not, but
I did.
All right, since you did, enlighten us, sir. Tell us a little bit about
Well, basically, since I guess this is the official announcement. Like you said, we've known about it months ago. It might not have been official at the time, but it is now. And she had to pull herself away from social media, shut everything down, because the backlash she was getting was just too much. It just kind of just go sit, meditate with friends and family to get those negative, vibes, out. And she's like, knew that whether it was me or another woman of color in this position, it was going to be the same thing. So, it's just sad. It's just sad. Like, I don't understand why people are so up in arms. Like, she's not the new James Bond.
But that's, and the thing is, and
the moniker of 007.
And that's the thing people can't separate, is the fact that all the agents, the 00s, like, they're just assigned to them. But if you do get killed, the number gets pretty much essentially reassigned. So, essentially, Bond quit at the end of the last movie. So, I mean, quit, whatever you want to say for it. But, so obviously they're going to refill the role of a 00, so they got to give it to somebody. And whoever the best agent is at the time is going to take over the moniker. So, but people just can't understand that, and they just see why is she going to be the new James Bond? Like, just from what we saw in a little bit in the trailers, I mean, she looked like she going to handle her. She looked like she was going to put the paws on Bond. So, yes. I think she can. I think she can handle being a 00.
No, but it's sad that people just can't. Either they don't want to wrap their head around it, or just can't for whatever reason.
It's the
Like
don't. No, it's definitely the don't. Like, it's just like not a lot of people batted an eye when they changed James Bond. Like every time the character changed from a different actor, it was like people were kind of like, I don't know, but it was accepted. But now
because it was a man.
But now that just the moniker, not the same character, we're moving the double agent over to her. Now there's a whole issue with it. Like,
I mean, look, listen. I'm honestly of two minds when it comes to something like this, because I'm not saying that the license itself doesn't need a refresh.
mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, they basically give it every time they put a new person in the role.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But the importance of the race of the person to the role of the character is a thing that we've discussed multiple times, right? Like whether or not it matters if Michael B. Jordan plays Johnny Storm or not. Personally, to me, it does. Like Johnny Storm is not a black man. That's not the way the character was written. And is his race important to the character? You could say it's not, but then that almost diminishes how different of an experience it can be to be black. Period. If you make Johnny Storm a black man, then his experiences as a person are different from Johnny Storm, the not black man. Period. So, does it matter as far as the character's abilities and what they can do and how they might act? Sure. But as a whole, it does, or at least it can fundamentally change that character. And part of what that character was tied to the fact that his sister was also involved in that. So now we do have to start changing other pieces of the story, which again, not necessarily fundamental, but always a part of what the overall story is, in that they are blood brother and sister. Now they're not. And you can say that the fact that they're not, and that they are people of different races, or whatever, doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. But it does matter in the small nuances, truthfully. Is it okay? Yeah. If they had changed the whole team, sure. Right? However, with something like this, again, I'm of two minds. And part of the reason is because you are technically not changing the character. You're just reassigning the number. Which, from a fan perspective, like technically, these are secret agents. Nobody's supposed to even know that they even have double. They're not supposed to know anything about any. You know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to know that James Bond is 007. That's the secret in Secret Agent. You understand what I'm saying? But the fact that we as fans are in on the secret, we know who he is.
Right.
We know who 007 is. The way that those stories are written, the way that those movies are made, as the viewer, we're the ones who are let in on the secret. It's just like how when you're watching a horror movie, not you, Sam, but when anybody else is watching a horror movie, and you like, hey, don't go in there.
Don't go in there.
Don't go in. And sometimes, the way the movie is directed or whatever, you actually know there's somebody in there. You tell them, hey, don't go in there. Sometimes you don't, because you've seen so many movies where you know there's somebody in there. You're telling them you are in on the secret. So we feel a certain kind of ownership over that. Same kind of ownership that makes us talk to the screen. Hey, don't go in there. You stupid. Why'd you do that? Who are you talking to?
Talking to her. She going in the room. Dude's gonna hack and slash her.
So we do feel a certain kind of ownership, right? that makes us feel like something's being taken away from us when they change something on. Okay? I can accept the fact as a part of the lore that the 007 number gets reassigned to the next person in line. Like it just
makes sense.
It is what it is. Because all you're supposed to be is a number, not a name. But they haven't I mean, those films have been James Bond, Olin, whatever. You know what I mean? So you associate the name with all of it, with the secret agency, with the whatever. It's just what we've been taught. So you're taking that from us. The other thing you're doing is you're not just changing the character, you're changing the race of the character and the gender of the character. And I don't know if y'all been around for 2020, but folks ain't ready. They not ready. They're not ready for that.
Well, they ain't got a choice.
And there is a question about how necessary it is. There will always be people who will question whether or not a decision like this is made to appease the people. If a decision like this is made, you know what I mean? Not as a natural move for the franchise, but as a affirmative action, kind of.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So
if you're doing it just to appease the masses, you know what I'm saying, to get people back on your side or whatever, or if it makes legitimate sense, like when you're watching the story and see how it all plays out, like, okay, I get it now, it makes sense, yada yada yada. Yeah.
You know, look, it might be totally different had it not leaked.
True.
Right? If we saw it and saw how it takes place and had an actual understanding of what was happening,
probably will make perfect sense.
It might be very, very different the way that we react and how we treat it. But right now, it's like you're being spoiled. Someone has given you what you think is the ending, and you don't know the whole story. You don't know all the pieces. So you're making your decision, and you're reacting based on the information you have, which is not everything. Because for all we know, she's 007 for like 30 minutes.
I know. He comes back and is like, yeah, I want my job back.
He disappears.
Right.
We don't know, quote unquote, where he is or what happened to him. She takes on the moniker. If he's alive, for all we know, she's 007 for 30 minutes in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Handles it well, whatever. He shows back up, and now she's whoever the hell 009 used to be.
Right.
Because we don't know who that is.
Right.
But we do know who that is. You understand what I'm saying? Like
I said, she could be 007 for 30 minutes and then end up dead.
Hey, Slim.
Hey, that's just
30 minutes and they get her Kobe number. To be like, man, Slim, you earned it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows?
We've seen that happen. Come in the movie for all of 10 minutes and you're gone.
What's up, Nick? You know, talking about Latasha Lynch being the new 007 and people being upset about it. Here's a question I have for you guys. It's kind of a role. The kind of role that has you basically be the new vice president of the United States right now, moving into a role as a black woman that has been filled by white men for year upon decade and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you agree to do this, when you audition for the role, sit down in front of the director, the casting director, start looking at the script and so forth, somehow mentally you have to know what this is like. What the social media reaction is going to be like, how it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
There's no way around that.
I'm not even joking. Should this come with hazard pay?
Mental hazard pay? I would say that's it. Yeah.
Like I'm not even like
I know you.
No.
Mental hazard pay. I'm talking hazard pay, bro. Like
I think both.
Social media, like people are threatening to kill this woman because somebody else wants to cast her as the new 007, not the new James Bond, not Jamie Bond or whatever.
Right.
Just 007.
But again, People don't know how to separate the two
They
things
can't.
from each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really their fault. You didn't set this up right. You understand what I'm saying? Should a job like this come with hazard pay?
Yes.
Yeah, because they should all
Yes.
have known what was going to be expected when she got put in that place. I know
100%.
when we first found out, you know,
Yeah.
that the 007 was going to get moved over to her, we was like, yeah, we already knew it right then and there, and it was
Well, we were
like
expecting her to crash.
you said, yeah,
Real
It's like
thing.
you said, it's that 1-2 punch. It's the color of her skin and the fact that it's a woman. You hit her with a 2-piece at the same time.
she's under both of the
Like,
wrong categories,
yes.
what their wrong categories to do, but
Right.
they just can't separate. Like if you've watched
If it
Bond,
turns out that her character is also LGBTQ,
oh,
they set her all the way up.
she's got all the ones that they're going to try to. They just said take it all and roll in one little package. But I'm sorry, like if you've watched James Bond over the years, like granted, there's only been maybe, I would say maybe 3 of the movies they really made mention of other actual 00 agents other than just focusing on Bond. So just like you said, Gage, they didn't really set it up to know when like did this happens. Like when GoldenEye, that was 009 that got killed in there. But since then, we've never ever heard of another 009. So for all we know, they never refilled the role. Or 009 is a true secret agent, and not a damn soul actually knows who this person actually is.
I mean, look, we talked about this probably 3 or 4 years ago when the rumor was that it was going to be Idris Elba
Yep.
taking over the role,
Oh, those
And-
comments were disgusting.
and they were. But the world would have been more ready for that. And again, that was at a time also when there just wasn't as much vitriol. You know what I mean? Like it exists now, right? Like people were mad when they did an Assassin's Creed with a black character. It's a game, dog. Like you know what I mean? Like chill. But people don't like again making the decision do something like this to me says when you sign your name on the dotted line, when you sign that contract, there should be such a ridiculous amount of additional money, hazard pay, that comes along with you know what
You
that
pay
is.
for your security, the whole 9 yards.
Dog, all of it.
Not to mention, it almost feels like there should be a clause that exists about you getting more if it leaks. Because again, a lot of this is about having leaked information that doesn't tell you the whole story.
Mhm.
And if it was one of those things where people went to the theater and sat down and watched it, they might just be like, "Oh snap! Oh!" And then it would have been like, "Oh, yo, did you see what they did? They da whatever." And it could actually have. There are always going to be people who will be mad about it. Hazard pay should be there, but it could have had a very different feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 'cause you
based
would have-
on
'cause you would
the
have the whole
zeitgeist in which it found its way into pop culture, into social media, right, and so forth.
But you know, AK, but
Because you would have had the whole story and the whole picture. You know what I mean? By
Like-
going to see it in the theater first.
Yes, a backlash bonus, Heather. Yes.
Oh damn, that would actually be
Yeah.
it right there. But K, the movies actually are, if you look at most of the titles, they actually do have James Bond in them. I know as they've gotten to more of the recent ones, they try to phase it out, but it's always Ian Fleming's James Bond, and then whatever the name of it. They've kind of gotten away from doing it, but then they just shrunk it down and made it super small, so you don't really see it. You just see whatever the gigantic name of it is.
Or whatever.
Yeah, but it's still most of them have always been Ian. Actually, when you watch the opening scenes and they do the music run, it always specifically says Ian Fleming's James Bond, and then you hit the title screen. Like that's in every single one of them.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's James Bond is part of the title of the run of the series. You know what I mean? It's for all intents and purposes. In a lot of ways, it's like taking Harry Potter's name out of the title of every single Harry Potter. Like they're all Harry Potter and something. You know what I mean?
Goblet of Fire.
Now, don't get it twisted. Harry Potter is not a secret agent, though he is a secret wizard. I suppose that there are muggles who ain't supposed to know. A man got power. But again, we're on the secret inside. And so it's a little bit different for us. And we just, one of the things that pop culture is and always has been tied to is nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make changes like this, you mess around with certain pieces of that nostalgia. You feel like you can always go back and rewatch the old James Bond film. Like, nobody calls them the 007 films. They call them the old James Bond films.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, because of that, when you say you're replacing James Bond, it actually feels like you're making the kind of change that means it's not the same thing. And it isn't going to be the same thing. And it isn't supposed to be the same thing. Almost in the same way. Like, Daniel Craig was super questionable when they decided to take that dude 007. It was like, Slim's not suave or debonair.
Right.
He's no Pierce Brosnan. You know what I mean? Like, it just,
yeah.
the whole feeling. He's no Timothy Dalton. You know what I mean? He was just rolling around the edges, and it really felt like they were trying to push James Bond into more of the, like, Taken
Kind of thing, yeah.
Bourne Identity universe. I'm gonna say it kind of worked.
No, it most certainly did. I think it was a gamble. It was a risky gamble that they did, but it ended up paying out for them.
But that was a necessary change, and I don't know that this is a necessary change. I'm not gonna say it's not time for it, or that it's not okay, or whatever. But that like, I find that there's probably a lower likelihood that James Bond films would have continued to do well and do numbers if they hadn't put a Daniel Craig in that place, in that position. Just, I'm not sure that. But having a Latasha Lynch in that position, and the idea or the possibility of her then having to carry on, let's say, the next 3 films, or something like that. I mean, as a country, as a pop culture movie going group of individual people, we're barely ready for Black Widow to have her own film. Just barely. Within like the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a Tomb Raider. Salt was kind of a thing. But like, Scarlett Johansson hasn't managed to actually hold down a lead role of an action film at all. At all. Lucy, nah, dog. Not the one. I wanted to like it. I tried to like it. Nah, dog. Ghost in the Shell? Nah, dog. You understand what I'm saying? Same actress. Doing essentially the same job. You can blame it on any number of things. The way it's written, the way it's directed, the way it's edited, any number of things. Point is,
didn't do what it's supposed to do.
Not doing box office numbers that say, you know what, it's time to start giving females these kind of roles that are whatever, right? Like, what's the new joint on Netflix that Charlize Theron is in? It's dope too.
I know something. I can't remember the name, but I know exactly what you're talking about though.
You understand what I'm saying? Old Guard. Old Guard. I mean, it works. You know what I'm saying? But again, we're just now getting to a place where we're ready to do that. And Old Guard isn't James Bond. It's not changing something that just has these decades and decades of history, books and so forth behind it. You know what I'm saying? At all. Black Widow's been around and has had her own comic books for decades.
Ever.
Just now, we're ready to get a film. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, taking something like James Bond, 007, removing him from the picture, putting in a black female character into that role, technically means you're expecting for that person to be able to carry. You don't make another Bond film without planning to make more Bond films. That's just not how that works.
Yeah, it's not a one-off. Yeah, it's not a one-off.
They're not Bond films. So if they're not James Bond films, what do we call them? We just call them 007 films?
That's probably what it was.
What is the cinematic universe that we call this by? Is it MI6
That's what I was
or
gonna say.
you know what I'm saying, whatever, and then you know, maybe the next story, the next movie isn't about 007. Maybe it's about one of the other 00. You know what I'm saying? And the life they lead. And if you can do that, do you need to make her the new 007? Or can she just have a number and we follow what's happening
Whatever
with,
for her.
you know what I'm saying? And like, is that necessary? You could just make a Money Penny joint. To be like, oh yeah, Money Penny looks out for this person and this person and this person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Q is making gadgets for this person and this person and this person. You know what I'm saying? And we just do Q movies. We just do Money Penny movies. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Am I tripping? Didn't they replace Money Penny?
I don't understand. I haven't seen the Daniel Craig one, so I'm not. I don't.
Money Penny died and they replaced Money Penny, but there's a new Money
Oh
Penny.
yeah. It's what's her name that played in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
That was what's the that played Calypso. I don't know. Remember her the real name?
Black. No,
Yeah.
that's no, she black.
Yeah. No, they straight replaced her. I had that feeling like all through the movie. Like I was like, when she came from out of the field and she said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna be parked behind the desk." And then when she finally said what her name was, I was like, "Oh, we
Right.
going there."
Right. Which may have been the attempt at setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To be like, look, these monikers don't belong to any one particular person.
Right.
For
Mhm.
all you know, James Bond not even his real name.
I've always
Probably
I always thought that was just the code name that they gave him to go
I
along.
knew James Bond ain't on Slim birth certificate. Or it was on whoever was the first 007.
And they just kept
was
it.
James Bond. And when Slim died,
They just kept it to make
they
it.
just, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you gotta give us that back. Like,
Naomi
we're
Harris,
hungry
good
that way.
luck.
Like, we like details and neat stuff. You can't just, you're right, Naomi Harris. You can't just be like, oh nah, we just got a new joint and change the name and everything. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that for us because we're so detail hungry. You know what I mean? We spend so much time just like digging into the little tiny nuances of stuff like that. It's
We're
gonna
not
be
gonna get,
interesting.
we're not gonna get those answers until the movie comes out. So,
Right.
Facts.
And it's probably
Yeah.
coming straight to on demand.
Do
So
Just do it. Because that was about to be when after they pushed Black Widow back. That when that was the only one, I was like, that was the movie that was going to end up having me go to the theater. And then they pushed that back. I was like, oh, I ain't going to the theater.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. So look, real talk real quick before we wrap up the show.
Mhm.
Talk about WandaVision.
Hmm.
Because we've been talking about Black Widow.
Yep.
So let's talk about Wanda and Vision and what's happening. Before I even let's just do this. Let me just ask the folks: is Quicksilver coming back?
Yeah, in a vein, in some way. In this, I think so. The way the show, the trailer seemed to be shaping up, he could definitely appear.
Sure.
Not be a real thing or whatever. Something going on in their head.
Flashback or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
still.
don't think he's coming back as like he'll be back for good. But in some way, shape, or form, I think we'll see him in the show.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. Like I know we've had this conversation. If it ended up being Quicksilver from like the X-Men movies, you know, maybe she didn't necessarily recognize who he was. You know, he kind of explained, and this kind of, I don't want to say brings in the mutants, but it sets it where they could go in that direction if they wanted to. At least they establish more of the multiverse side of things. That, you know what, this is your brother, but this is your brother from this particular universe. So it could. One way.
You don't think both of them show up? You think just one or the other?
I think both of them could show up, but I'll be honest with you. I think it'll only end up being one of them in the end of it, and it'll probably be what's his name that played them in X-Men.
Why do you think that?
Yeah.
I don't know the Quicksilver that we got. Mm-hmm.
The execution of Quicksilver in the X-Men movies was done better.
Agreed.
However, I don't think the actor was better.
Mm.
I just think there was one scene. Y'all know what scene it is. Scene in the kitchen in slow motion.
Mhm.
That's the scene. They tried to recreate that scene in the
Right.
next film.
Yep.
And it was like, you did this already. Why are you overdoing it? Why are we doing this again?
Mhm.
So you know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily think he was better. I liked his outfit less. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they have there's a lot of room for them to play around with you figuring out which one they would want to use.
They can do whatever they
Multiverse, yeah, multiverse is in existence, so they can do it. But I definitely think in some shape or form, yeah, Quicksilver is definitely going to show back up. Vision,
Here's
something
the
like
deal.
that.
The rumor is that Quicksilver is definitely coming back because supposedly
As-
for Emerald City Comic Con,
Emerald
there is
City.
a Funko Pop 2-pack that includes Vision
and Quicksilver.
and Quicksilver.
Good job.
I mean, Funko didn't reveal it. There's
Who,
a
Tom Holland did?
huh?
Tom Holland did?
Yeah, it was Tom Holland.
Dog.
There's a Twitter account called like Severant Pops or something like that
Mhm.
that just kind of does all kinds of pop stuff, and they've been known to actually reveal like
Things
pops
before.
ahead of time.
Mhm.
And so they're the ones who leaked it. It's not an official thing, but I mean, there's a high likelihood. You know what I mean? That it could happen.
Someone was like, "Oops, we shouldn't have said that."
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The other thing they're talking about is them not retconning Wanda into being a mutant, and how mutants may actually come back. And I think most of us have settled on the idea that somehow she's going to be responsible for making that happen.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
that the existence of mutants will be a thing that she is tied to in some way, shape, or form. And again, it could just be, for all intents and purposes, man, they could just leave the MCU alone as its own thing, and all they really have to do is establish that the things that happened in the Fox X-Men universe
Mhm.
actually did happen, just in another multiverse. You know what I mean? In another universe.
Mhm.
They don't have to bring them together. I mean, they can bring one or two characters in.
Yeah, just to show that they're there. Yeah,
Whatever.
Right.
and I wouldn't
Just
be.
to say technically it's canon, but just in a separate multiverse. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. They don't actually have to bring mutants in. And here's the thing. I'm starting to feel like I almost don't want them to.
Yeah, you know who the catalyst could be for that. Honestly, that would just talk about it. Deadpool. Like, I'd be fine if Deadpool ended up somehow just showed up in the MCU, and he just breaks the fourth wall and just talks about the dude with the claws that I just like hated or whatnot ever, and just start like bad talking the X-Men, talk about Colossal. Like, I'd be cool if Deadpool showed up and did that. That at least we know, like, okay, they existed in some shape or form in the universe. I think he would be the perfect catalyst to do it without them having to like try to retell stories and do all that. Because
But if they did it right and just decided to do like just a straight up, the third Deadpool movie was a Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe,
hey,
and he actually goes into, he just pops the multiverse and it's just murdering folks.
hey.
That could be dope.
Technically, he
You know,
did
like,
that.
That could be
Technically,
dope.
you know what? Technically, he did that when he went back to Wolverine Origins and he took himself out. He was like, "No, we don't. That's not Deadpool."
I mean, that's kind of true. I mean,
That was fire.
look, I'm really beginning to feel like mutant thing is played out, bro. I'm not. One of the things I feel like I like about where the Avengers have been and what that meant to the MCU was that we were more or less just getting stories about people.
hmm
Mutants are so intrinsically tied to like racism and struggles therein and treating people like, and I'm not saying that those things aren't important. I'm just saying that like they're not very careful about how they approach it. We're just basically going to get the same stories over and over again, and those stories are going to become the first X-Men films were about those things.
hmm
Were about becoming a mutant or what it was like and looking different and how you get treated or whatever. And that is a thread that exists throughout all of the X-Men films.
Mhm.
Like, they use Mystique for a lot of that. because of her ability to look however she wants
Right.
versus what her natural look is. Like, they use her for a lot of that. Just don't want them to get stuck in that. It becomes
Right.
less about what is the big bad at the end and saving the universe, because it's all just them. And I'm not in a place now, especially as I'm beginning to see the comic book world gearing up again for a X-Men versus Avengers thing. I'm not really interested in seeing that. That's not where I want to see the franchises go. I don't want to see them establish the X-Men or establish mutants, that some are good and some are bad or whatever, all in the idea or the concept of eventually having them clash and have to fight each other, and that they are the big bad, and then like maybe the Phoenix Force is the thing that they really need to deal with. I'm not saying there aren't people that can't write stories that would be really good that wouldn't necessarily get stuck, but I feel like right now in my head, when I think about all the excitement that I have had over the last like decade of being like, when are they gonna bring mutants? When are they just gonna buy them and take them back and use them and whatever?
It's just that ship has sailed. It's just like the time
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to feel that way too. Like, it was a point like I really wanted the Hugh Jackman to just show up as Wolverine in the MCU, and like, you know, and I just look back on like Logan. I'm just like, you know what, Logan was a clean ending for the Professor X character and the Logan character to go out. So you know what, let's just let it be. If we ever decide to do something like the Illuminati or something like that, you know, I know we can figure out another Professor X, eventually bringing in Reed Richards. You know, that can be a whole set to itself, where they just introduce them as individuals and they just say, you know, hey, I had this crew, or I used to run with this crew, but as of now, you know, it's just me solo or whatnot ever. So if that ever got to that point, but
I'm still with, let's just leave the X-Men alone for now. Those movies are still very fresh in people's heads. Let's just let them live there for a while. And Disney has them back home. Marvel has them back home. Great. Let's just
plan something out for down the road. You got them.
Look further down the line. Let's see where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Let those live. Let those breathe. And let's, you know, focus on the phases we got and the phases we got upcoming, and just stick with that for right now. No need to necessarily try to force feed them and bring them in at this point.
Again, that's why I said I don't really want to see the X-Men. I'm okay with mutants coming back.
And doing something.
I feel like if you do the X-Men, you definitely get stuck in that same old told again story.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, what do we think of the Fantastic Four as a collective? We don't like them.
No.
I mean, are you specifically talking about the movies, or are you talking about the characters? Technically, we don't like any of them.
The only thing we've said, you know, give us Reed Richards just to.
It's actually not that bad.
Yeah, you said like give us Reed Richards where we can have them intertwine certain storylines or whatnot ever, but if just leave the Fantastic Four alone at this point.
I don't want Reed Richards. I'd say Sue Storm. I definitely don't want the Thing. I think that dude is the worst. Like, I don't care about that dude at all.
The movies.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm the one that's the awkward one. Like, I liked the first Fantastic Four movie. I thought it was okay. The second one, I thought it was okay, but with the whole thing with Galactus, you know, Galactus is like that in-game type villain that you have. Like I know they wanted to kind of introduce him.
Do too much too soon.
Yeah, he's like that in-game type villain that you want to have. So I thought that one was kind of like, maybe if they did a third one of that franchise, and maybe it would have worked, but I thought it was too soon for Galactus. I get it, they wanted to use the Silver Surfer. They could have still done the Silver Surfer and left Galactus out there somewhere and, you know, just made reference to him. But I get the relationship between the two of them, and they kind of just wanted to do it, but
that was too much. They shouldn't have done that. Yeah. You're right. Invisible Woman is a thug. That's why she's the one we want. All they gotta do is do a multiverse joint where they show A-Force, where it was just all women. It was like She-Hulk was leading the team. Slim, they was bodying. What? Yo, you ain't familiar with A-Force? Look into it. Just look into it. It was serious. All the dudes were gone.
They did the tease in Endgame. So if you saw the Endgame where they did and they brought all the women out together, like that was the tease right there.
Yeah, that was the reference for A-Force.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I mean, that's what you got. You got characters like Moon Knight. I mean, you got Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Cloak and Dagger, like all these other characters that have been getting shows. You know what I mean? That like they're leaning into, that have interesting stories, that have abilities and stuff like that, that aren't specifically mutants. I think if you introduce the fact that there are mutants, it becomes very unnecessary to have them be a team. But again, if you're gonna do it, actually give me X-Force, give me Excalibur. I don't need the X-Men. I don't want the X-Men again. I don't want X-Men with all new people. I don't want X-Men with a team I never heard of. Like, if you do it, you gotta give me my team of X-Men. Period.
That's it.
And you can't get it right, so let's just don't do it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
You know what? Name drop the X-Men, make them know they exist, and then walk away from it. That's all. You can just say
you don't even have to name drop the X-Men. If you say Jean Grey, we good.
Or you can bring up the Xavier School, like you can
You know
mention
what?
the school in a passing news report or something like
that.
that.
That
Like, okay.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
I don't have to. I really feel like. Look, I do think they're going to introduce mutants because I do think they're going to want to bring them in some manner. But I do think, again, being able to focus on characters that have been able to carry books by themselves, or that aren't necessarily members of a team. I think they have some good prospects for replacing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, if possible. Maybe there's something there. Maybe an Alpha Flight. Maybe. If you do it right. You understand what I'm saying? But like, if you start getting into X-Men and start getting into like Sentinels, like you begin to raise it to a level of like, come on, like they've done such a good job of grounding like Captain America as a regular dude who got powers and stands out in a world where there aren't a bunch of people with powers. Once you introduce mutants, everybody has.
You got powers. You get powers. Everybody gets powers.
You got invisibility. You got your feet big. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, I don't really want to see them do that.
I dig that.
They tried to lean into it with the Inhumans. It didn't work. And I think the reason why it didn't work is because it's literally just the X-Men. It's literally just mutants. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just another way of ensuring that everybody could possibly be a person with power. That's it. So I think you just have to be real careful with it. But give me Iceman.
I know you. I was about to say you. Hey, you can get your whole what was it? Get your Iceman, Spider-Man, and get what was it? Was it Fire? Not Firestorm.
Yeah, Firestorm.
Firestar. That's it. Yeah, get the three of them together.
Let's get my Gambit movie that we never got.
Hey, sir, there's a fan-made Gambit movie that's actually pretty fire. So maybe you should stick with that because.
Yeah, pretty much.
But a Gambit movie could be dope.
It could be.
A Bishop movie would be fire.
Yep.
If they keep him out of the X-Men, it could be post X-Men, could be in the future, whatever. But like, again, there are characters they could do stuff with that they just. I don't want to see X-Men. Mutants, okay. X-Men, I don't want to see it. I don't think I want to see it. In Feige, we trust.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Hey, Feige can bring Jon Favreau over and possibly do something as well too, because Favreau can do something.
In Favreau, we trust.
Yes, we do.
Most of the time, Favreau did the live action Lion King. Ooh,
yeah.
Jungle Book is clean now. Live action Jungle Book is clean. All right, look, let's wrap this up. We talked about a lot. I appreciate everybody, for paying attention and rapping with us and listening to us. We have some things we got to do. We got to play Ghost of Tsushima because we're still not rate ready. It's kind of what it is. We're definitely going to be talking on Thursday for cutscenes. So if you want to tune into our video game shows, if you're into video games, or you want to just hear us talk some more trash, then Thursday night, same time, same place. Make sure you check us out there. We'll be talking about the new consoles, the Series X, which released today, PlayStation 5, which releases on Thursday. So we'll be talking about that, some of our experiences with getting, not getting, you know the drill. And Sin, you got a job to do.
I do. So let's shout out our top tier patrons, which is Anthony Cunningham, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, and a new addition to the family, Mr. Marcus Houston. We truly appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Marcus, you get to shoot him with that joint. Shooter McGavin. I don't even know if you know who Shooter McGavin is. You know who Shooter McGavin is, Joe?
Yes, sir. Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite movies.
I'm at Scrubs, bruh. Scrubs, bruh. So yeah, so we'll be talking about that on Thursday. We greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Once again, thank you for a wonderful weekend. This past weekend, Extra Life was dope. With that, I got one more thing I gotta show you. Give me a second. Let me get up.
Oh boy. While he's grabbing the show something.
What do you think it is?
I have an idea. No, it's not that. Just a quick little tidbit I'm gonna throw out there while he grabs that. I had just gotten a little on my phone. So The Rock just announced that he's rebooting Scorpion King.
Oh really?
He's not gonna be in it though. But I guess
how many more minutes do you want this show to be, dog? Because I got some things to say about.
I had to just throw that out there because when I saw that, I was kind of like, oh.
The Rock also did an announcement about teaming up with Xbox again today, and that was a much better announcement.
I saw that.
As a pop culture show, I see these joints, man.
I saw when you posted those.
I saw, yeah.
I was like, them joints is clean.
Sexy ass Coach. These joints, boy. How do you know pop culture is stepping up? Because they make purses and shoes.
Right.
Well, if I remember right, too.
Like, we run the world, y'all. Like, remember when we used to, like, they wouldn't let us do music? We was just the nerds in the back of the room.
Yep.
Hey, we
the world, baby.
Hard, bro.
And if I remember right, too, with Coach, I think it's Coach, like, Michael B. Jordan had, like, a Naruto line. It's one of those high,
Slim. I'm scared to wear them joints, but you know I'm gonna.
No, you ain't.
Facts.
Man,
I'm gonna wear them joints.
Ain't no one gonna, if someone step to you, bad move.
Sorry, you know, dog.
I already
that
know.
No matter what you guys wearing. Oh man, yeah, terrible CGI in the Scorpion King. That's part of why they need to redo it. That joint looked like the Muppets Take Man hat. That joint.
Straight PS4 graphics.
Oh man,
God,
listen. Doing that Race to 10,000 on Instagram. Y'all know what it is. Follow us across all social media. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend again. Make sure you like, share, and support. Share all that jazz. With that, we're out. Toodles and lose. What it do, snackers and snackettes? Did you like what you just saw? Would you like to help us grow? Here's what you can do. Shoot over to patreon.com/loading snacks. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform of choice. Appreciate you.